Scientists have created the world's thinnest spaghetti. A South Korean man was convicted of dodging the draft by binge eating, and an Italian village offers $1 homes to Americans that are upset by the U.S. election results. These are the weird stories on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast hosted by a comedian on the road again. Scientists have created the world's thinnest spaghetti. It's the sound of science. And science, in this case, is doing something that I fully support: inventing new forms of pasta. I always wondered, what Italian scientists did all day: smoke cigarettes, drink wine, grope each other, and invent new pasta. So now we know, guys. This says here, researchers from the University College London have done what celebrity chefs and Italian grandmas could only dream of. They've made the world's thinnest spaghetti. So thin. I mean, I guess it's thinner than angel hair, then? That's the thinnest spaghetti from my familiarity with pasta. So if it's thinner than angel hair, I'm going to guess it's called archangel hair, messenger angel hair, guardian angel hair. Angel of Death hair? Cherubim hair pasta? Seraphim hair pasta. Maybe they just call it spaghetti-teeny. Spaghetti-teeny weeny weeny weeny. Got so many questions, and when can I eat it? When can I put it in my mouth is what I want to know. This is a culinary accomplishment, they say, that was published in the Nanoscale Advances. And they have yielded strands of starch nanofibers that are just 372 nanometers wide, which is invisible to the naked eye and is even smaller than some wavelengths of light. It's even thinner than waves of light? Pasta? Wait, does this mean you can eat unlimited amounts of this pasta and it just goes in your body like light? Oh man, this is going to be amazing now. Maybe like Olive Garden could get on this and just offer endless spaghetti-teeny weenies and soup. That would be nice. I would be all over that. I'd imagine it's like sort of like eating cobwebs, although it sounds like it's even more thinner than cobwebs. It's so thin, it's like invisible. You're eating invisible pasta. Wow. Oh, man. What next? Like invisible breadsticks. The world's thinnest pasta sounds silly, this article says, but starch can actually have important applications in medicine. So this sounds like it's going beyond just food. Maybe it wasn't even invented to be eaten. It says here, nanofiber starches such as this can help wounds heal when used in bandages, since they'd be able to keep out bacteria while allowing moisture through. The way they made these nanofibers is through a process called electrospinning, where, now we're getting really nerdy. This is where an electric charge pulls flour and liquid mixture through extremely small metal holes into threads that are just nanometers wide. They say this is exactly the same way that you would make conventional spaghetti to accompany your bolognese or your meatballs, only at a much, 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 much smaller scale. These scientists say there's still a lot of study to be done before the product will be appearing in your doctor's office. So this is never going to be on the shelves at Albertsons. We're never going to be able to get some pasta like this. I mean, wouldn't you think it would be quite an experience to eat pasta so thin it's nearly invisible? People trying to cut carbs. This would be a great way to cut carbs. I cut my carbs all the way down to nano carbs. You know what I mean? You could say that, to your doctor. Doctor's like, no more spaghetti for you, fatso. And you're like, hell yeah, well, I can still eat spaghetti. Spaghetti teeny, weeny, 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 nano spaghetti, and you can't stop me. There's very little calories in this. The article ends by saying, although it would be fun to watch chefs try to explain invisible pasta on a reality cooking show, electrospinning almost certainly won't become the new molecular gastronomy hotness, as one of the co-authors of this project says. I don't think it's useful as pasta, sadly, as it would overcook in less than a second before you could even take it out of the pan. Oh, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, It would cook you would have to, well, I mean, we have to invent a way to cook it then. I mean, we have electro spinning to make it, and maybe we have electro cooking to cook it. I'm sure there's a way. One technology creates a problem where you have to create another technology to solve that problem. Technology begets technology. Innovation begets further innovation. Here we go, guys. I'm still thinking nano pastas. Wouldn't you want some nano raviolis? Huh? Come on, you do. Don't you want some pasta you can snort? You ever snort your meal? I did in Cancun. A South Korean man is convicted of dodging the draft by binge eating. We have here a court in South Korea, and they found a man guilty recently of trying to avoid the mandatory military service by deliberately gaining some weight. Is that all it takes? Don't they put you in a little fat camp for some amount of time to get you ready? I don't know nothing about mandatory military service because I live in the U.S. where it's not really required. I think it's definitely one of the things the U.S. has going for it, you know. Although one could make an argument for it as well, you know. I mean, we got a lot of oversized individuals here that could probably use some boot camp in their life, you know. But if you can get out by being overweight, I don't think anyone would be able to make the mandatory military service requirements to even get in the first place. I mean, so many of these young children are they're very round. I mean, they're very big. I know this because I'm a small guy, and sometimes I shop for clothes in the kids department, and I tried on a extra large. My size in kids clothes is large, by the way, also known as boys ages 12 to 14. So no, I tried to get into the 14 to the 16, right? You know, as an adult man, I was pretty embarrassed to find that I couldn't fit into the 14 to I couldn't fit into the XL, to the XL. I mean, imagine how large these kids are. Yeah, I'm not going to be mean and say anything about their shape and size, but I'm just going to say, if you don't know, if you're not aware, we're breeding an entire generation of bouncers right now. It's what they're all going to be. Or D linemen, you know, D linemen. So I don't know why did I go on that rant? Does that even make any sense? Oh, I was just saying, no, everyone's American kids are too, they eat too much. Well, if maybe a diet of nano pasta will get you down to the right military weight. Look at that. We're solving one story with another. All right, back to the story here. We got a 26-year-old Korean boy. He began binge eating before his physical examination for the draft. This is according to a judge in Seoul. Says he was categorized as obese, allowing him to serve in a non-combat role at a government agency. Maybe he just didn't want to be out in the field. He just wanted a desk job, so he binge ate. I don't blame the guy. Yeah, there's just some people aren't meant for all that, outdoor running around activity, military, whatever you want to say, G.I. Joe antics. I mean, I'm a pacifist for the most part myself when it comes to war. I wouldn't. If there was a war, I would never join. And if you drafted me, I would run away. I would live in the woods. I would live in a van by the river. I would do something to get out of it, because I will not participate in your war for some rich people. I just wouldn't do that. No, would I knock a mofo out at the bar for being stupid? Yeah, I would do that. I'm just not going to fight a war for some rich people. So yeah, I say that all to say I don't blame this guy. He wants to just maybe drive an ambulance or work on computers or something. Although, can't you just apply for those positions? And I don't know how it works in South Korea, but maybe you just get placed somewhere. And he just was like, well, I don't want to be out in the field. I don't want to be doing, private pile things, climbing over the wooden beams. So let me just eat. You guys remember Private Pile? Is that a jelly donut in your Foot Locker, Private Pile? In this case, it would be, is that Korean barbecue in your Foot Locker, Private Park? I don't know if his last name's Park, but that's a very common Korean name. So I just went with that. Okay, so it turns out this guy got punished for this. He received a 1-year suspended sentence. I don't know what that means. Maybe that means he gets to go back home on his couch, play video games, exactly where he wanted to be. This guy's winning in life. It says here, a friend who devised a special regimen that doubled his daily food intake also got a 6-month suspended sentence. So his friend that gave him the binge eating regimen did time as well? That's funny. You would never think. Well, that's all the more reason just to tell your buddy to just Google it. I'm not going to tell you anything. Just Google it. His friend got a 6-month sentence for telling him about it. And why would you rat out your friend, though? I don't know about this guy, after all. He ratted his friend out, clearly. When someone asks you, so where did you get the idea of this binge eating to avoid your military duties, sir? And then you go, well, my friend George, then you're kind of a piece of crap as a friend. You just say I Googled it. I looked it up. Like, what are you talking about? Wow, now I don't really like this guy so much because he threw his friend under the bus. It says here, all able-bodied men in South Korea over the age of 18 must serve in the army for at least 18 months. According to the media, the defendant was assessed as fit for combat duty during an initial physical examination, but at the final examination, he weighed in over 225 pounds, also known as 16 stone, making him heavily obese. Are we still using stones as measuring increments in the world? I haven't heard that before. So what do you weigh, sir? Oh, about 16 stone. What's going on here? 6 stone? I wonder how many stone I weigh. I don't know how many stone I weigh. What's the equivalent of a length stone? Do they use the term stick? I weigh 16 stone, and I'm about 6.6 stick in length. Okay, it says the man, his friend, who recommended binge dieting, had denied the charge of aiding and abetting, saying he never believed his friend would actually go through with it. Still, how do you throw your friend under the bus like that? Maybe they tapped the phone and overheard a conversation. Maybe they got his text messages, and in there the friend is saying it. I don't know. I just assumed the guy just threw his friend under the bus, but maybe that's not the case. Well, again, at the end of the day, I don't blame anybody who doesn't want to join a military. It seems like we're on the brink of World War III, so maybe we all should just try to gain weight to avoid any sort of mandatory injunctions. I say Boston cream donuts and steak bombs every day from here on out, guys. Who's with me? An Italian village offers $1 homes to Americans that are upset by the election results. While many communities around the world have been wondering what to make of Donald Trump's recent presidential re-election, a village on the Italian island of Sardinia has sniffed a potential opportunity here. Like many other places in rural Italy, Ololai. This place is called Olali. I think that's what I'm going to call it from here on out. I can't even pronounce this thing. Ololai has long been trying to persuade outsiders to move in to revive its fortunes after decades of depopulation. It's been selling dilapidated houses for as little as €1, which is just over $1, to sweeten the deal. What they don't tell you is every domicile is in need of $1 million in repairs, I'd imagine. It says here, following the recent U.S. election outcome, they launched a website aimed at would-be American expats, offering up cheap homes in the hopes that those upset by the result will rush to snap up one of its empty properties. Yeah, you could buy the home, though, but that's not going to make you an Italian citizen. You have to apply for that. Yeah, it's great that you would own a home in Italy, but, I think on a tourist visa, you got, 90 days limit to be over there? Although, I don't know, maybe you're so rich you got homes all over the place, and then you just have one in Italy for $1, and you go there once a year for 9 weeks and call it a day. Have some lasagna with a side of nano pasta while you're over there, just living it up Italian style. All right, let's keep reading. Let's find out the fine print. That's where it gets you, the fine print. Also, I'm curious if you have to only buy one, are you allowed to buy more? Can you buy an entire block of houses? What's the limit here? Can I buy something with a vineyard, perhaps? Maybe make my own wine? It says here, are you worn out by global politics, looking to embrace a more balanced lifestyle while securing new opportunities? That's what it says on their website. And then they say, it's time to start building your European escape in the stunning paradise of Sardinia. Mayor Francesco Colombo, what a great name, Francesco Colombo says that the website was specifically created to attract American voters in the wake of the presidential elections. He says he loves the United States and is convinced Americans are the best people to help revive his community. He obviously hasn't been hanging around with Gen Z. They're not going to help you revive your community, bro. They're just going to sit around on their phone with Crocs. That's what they do. They don't revive much. We got a quote from the mayor here. Maybe he's going to offer us some nano pasta. He says, "We just really want and will focus on Americans above all. We can't, of course, ban people from other countries to apply, but Americans will have a fast-track procedure. We are betting on them to help us revive our village. They are our winning card." He's very confident that Americans are going to go there. Before you go, though, you might want to research into why this village has been abandoned in the first place. Like, what do they got? No running water? What is it? Is it rats? Is there plague residue on the streets? Like, I don't want to live in a village that has the residue of a plague. I mean, what is the reason they abandoned it? I'm looking at photos. It looks adorable. There's got to be something going on here. There's no jobs, I'd imagine, so you have to work remotely. I'm curious what kind of Italian restaurants they have in the place, though. We could Google that and find that, but maybe they only got one left because no one lives there. And that would be, now you're stuck eating at the same restaurant all the time. Forget it. Okay, the mayor, Francesco, says the village is now offering 3 tiers of accommodation. Okay. Free temporary homes to certain digital nomads, €1 or $1 homes in need of renovations and ready to occupy homes for prices up to $105,000. The mayor says he set up a special team to guide interested buyers through every step of the purchase, from organizing tailored private tours of the available dwellings to finding contractors, builders, and navigating all the required paperwork. Well, this would just be fun to go and take a tour of the available $1 homes. Just go to Italy for this. Sardinia? That sounds like a place, right? I've heard of it. It must be kind of populated or near something, so maybe you don't have to stay your whole time in this abandoned village. You could go to the nearby, the hot spot in Sardinia, get yourself some good food, and maybe hang out with some women that look like Sophia Loren. Sounds like a good way to spend the weekend. Red wine and Sophia Loren lookalikes. Ooh, sign me up for that. And maybe I get married and now I buy my dollar home and I can live there forever and ever. Sophia Loren and some nano pasta. Okay, we got some stats about the city. We got some stats about this city called in Italy. It's shrunk from 2,250 to 1,300. With only a handful of babies born each year, many families left the village during tough economic times in search of work and better lives. Over the past few years, the population has further dropped to barely 1,150 residents. Well, they began with 2,250, so it was a tiny village to begin with. So it's not as though we're dealing with a metropolis here that's now looking like a dystopian, empty city. So while the village may be desperate to lure newcomers in an attempt to stop the depopulation, the offer of preferential treatment to Americans, as Colombo describes it, may seem a bit controversial. The website does not mention having a U.S. passport as a prerequisite, but the mayor says U.S. citizens will be favored above potential applicants of other nationalities. Does that mean you're going to offer free citizenship too? You might want to sweeten the deal in these other ways. Otherwise you can only stay there for a couple months a year. Is everyone just overlooking this? There's a lot they're overlooking here, because, the kind of people that would want to move here on this particular offer, in other words, people on the left that aren't very pleased that Mr. Trump has won the election, people they concerned that the far right is taking over in the political arena, might be surprised to find out that Italy has a very far right prime minister. Oopsie. So I don't know if you're getting the freedom that you seek over here. Mussolini's granddaughter happens to be running the place, just to give you some perspective. And, you might have a great time until you have to experience the Italian judicial system as well, which I hear nightmares stories of. So I don't know if this is the kind of freedom you're really looking for, despite how you feel about the result of the election. Just something to consider. Now, the mayor does say that the website that they set up has been flooded recently with 40,000 requests of information on houses, most of them coming from the United States. So he's very excited about it. And those of you who want to escape the country for a temporary amount of time and perhaps even look into maybe owning property elsewhere, maybe it's a place you can then, get the paperwork together and down the road retire there. I don't know. There might be some use out of this. You could also just buy some uninsured homes by the seaside in Florida right now, I think, for pretty much nothing. I got this house in Florida for $1 overlooking the water in my basement. Hi, my friends and loyal listeners of the Weird AF News Podcast. Thanks for spending some time with your buddy Jonesy and the show. I hope you're having a great day, night, morning. I don't know what you're doing, but do it with all you got. Do it. Do it. Do it till you're satisfied. Do it. Do it. Do it till you're satisfied. Do it. Do it. Do it till you're satisfied. Do it. Do it. Do it till you're satisfied. Go on and do it. Do it. Do it till you're satisfied. Go on and do it. Do it. Do it till you're satisfied. Do it. Do it. Do it till you're satisfied. Do it. Do it. Do it till you're satisfied. Go on and do it. Do it. Do it till you're satisfied. Do it. Do it. Do it till you're satisfied.